not built for the tough winters like I am.
Yes, I am. I remember when I worked at Portillo's for like 2.5 years.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
You were outside in the cold.
I was outside in the cold a lot, and then I was able to handle winters after that for many years. Welcome
There it is.
to the 54th episode. 54.
Are you sure?
I am sure.
Are you sure?
I know what episode it is. It's the 54th episode of Beer and Fair. My name is Zach.
My name is Paige.
We are going to do this episode on, I remembered, the sea, slash the ocean, slash open bodies of water, slash thalassophobia.
That's going to be the title. All those slashes.
All of those things. But I think just the sea is how I had it formatted in.
Headed it.
How I had it formatted in Excel.
Exhale.
In Excel. But the sea's scary. You know, it's scary to some people. That's why there's a phobia name for it, thalassophobia. And actually, this episode is partly inspired by Amy. I don't know if she listens still or if Bill listens. But shout out to Amy, because she told me that she has a fear of the sea. Just because it's, wide open. It's just sea everywhere. There's just water everywhere. But it's scary because it's like the unknown and,
H2Woah.
H2Woah. That'll be the title. So thalassophobia is the phobia, the fear of the sea. We're going to talk about the sea and the ocean. And I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But before we get into the beer... Anything to tell me about? I mean, you had a pretty eventful day today. I just don't know. There's some of that stuff. Obviously, we got to keep our personal lives. Some stuff we can't quite share, but
can't disclose to the one listener.
The one person that listens to this, I want to make sure that they don't hear these things.
I started a new job.
Hell yeah!
At a school as a teaching assistant.
That's great. It's so different from...
I am a teacher.
It's so different from everything that you've done before.
Very weird.
Yep.
Very surprised I got the job.
I'm not. I'm not surprised.
It was a good first day. I really enjoyed it. I told you all about it already, but it was just nice. And I also don't want to talk about minors.
Right. Yeah.
Seems inappropriate. But it was good. I've just been, TV. I started watching New Girl with Allison now.
You did say New Girl,
yes,
and then you were like, I'm not sure. Okay.
Now we're watching New Girl.
Excellent.
I think we were planning on doing the Avengers, but
oh yeah, that's right.
I need to dig out my PlayStation 3.
Oh yeah.
So I can put it in the living room.
Gotcha.
That's packed away in boxes.
Gotcha.
That seems like work.
That's a lot of work.
I still have those boxes in my room.
Oh my gosh.
It's been like 2 or 3 months now.
Well, that's okay. I remember I told you I still had boxes like after a year.
That's
they
true.
were in my bedroom and just
I've got
crap.
time then. I've got time. Nothing but time.
Yeah.
Until my inevitable demise.
You need to fix your brakes.
Let's not talk about that. It's getting too real. Let's not bring that up.
Bringing up the problems that I need to deal with.
I don't do this to reflect on my actions.
Yeah, that's true.
Jesus.
We drink beer and talk about scary shit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fine.
But yeah, I started a new job. I like it so far.
Excellent.
First day went well. I got a lot of compliments, which I was very surprised because all I did was hang out with kids.
Hell yeah. That sounds fun. I'm happy for you.
It was nice.
I'm excited. And tell me about your days.
What about you, bud?
What about me?
Yeah, what's going on in your life?
What is going on in my life?
Your side of the quarter.
Ooh.
Yeah. Huh?
I'm going to see the dentist tomorrow. I got that going for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
You gonna get something pulled?
No. It's just my 6-month appointment.
You wanna know when the last time I went to a dentist was? An embarrassing long time ago.
Oh. I go twice a year. I think that's what everyone says you're supposed to go to the dentist twice a year. Yeah, so I go 2 times a year. Did you lose something over there?
I dropped my cap.
Oh no. Do you need help recovering it?
Find it.
Oh. Well, Casoda will get it and she'll pat it under a table and you'll never be found again.
Just like her ball.
Yeah, I can't find that. What
So
did
it's just a checkup?
Yeah, it's just it's your 6-month appointment.
I have no idea where it went.
What did I do? I didn't really do anything.
Well, I guess you worked. So there's that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of work. Oh.
Oh.
No, I did do something. I went to the Morton Arboretum.
I still have never been.
Apparently, I thought that I had never been either, and I told my dad I was going.
Oh,
and
they
like,
told you that you have been. Yeah, I remember.
Did I talk about this?
Yeah, we talked about this.
Okay, so I went to the Morton Arboretum.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the human nature exhibits. That was really cool. Bunch of statues.
Were they just statues of humans?
Really? No, they were really cool looking. Not all of them. They were really cool looking statues.
Mm-hmm.
I have some pictures. Maybe I'll put them on the website. But you could. I mean, if you're listening to this, you can Google human plus nature and see it. But
yeah, but sometimes it's nice to just have everything in one area. Like they go to the website, they're like, "Oh, I want to see these pictures."
You know what? You're right, Paige.
Damn straight. Oh, is that like? Oh, those are lips and a face. I want to smooch them. Those are kissable lips.
Though, yeah.
Just saying.
And then this one.
Oh, that's cool as fuck.
And then
Makes me think of motherhood.
We went underneath it. Yeah, that's what the statue's for. Huh. It's like you're a child of nature, you know. And then
you're in the womb.
This one.
She's opening her bosom to you.
Uh-huh. And then this one.
Curly hands.
Curly hands. That's the name of that one, actually. Curly hands. And then this one.
Split in face person. Split in half person.
Split in half person.
I can name all of these.
But there were 5 statues there, and got to see them all. That was very cool.
Those are cool. I like that.
Yes.
I wish I had gone to the troll exhibit that they did, or the Lego exhibit that they did, because I loved Lego so much when I worked there.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah, well, there's still a troll that, like, if you're on 355 and you're driving a certain way, you can see.
Oh, the big one. Yeah,
the big one.
I see that. Yeah.
I was trying to figure out where that was because I wanted to see it, but
yeah,
I'll go some other day. It's fine. I'll see it.
It's fine. It's fine.
But it was very cool. I enjoyed it a lot. That was probably the highlight of my week. Yeah,
lovely.
But I have a shitty memory, so this is why I need to write things down. This is why I have a book over there.
And
I'm used to,
don't write
and
things down.
I haven't been doing that, so it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. Our beer for episode 54 about the sea is from Tighthead Brewing Company.
Tighthead? We've done that before,
We've
right?
done Tighthead, correct.
What did we drink from them?
Who do we drink? You can't guess or remember?
No, I don't remember.
It's up there, I think. Oh, you can't see it. No, it's not up
so
there.
many beers up there now.
Yeah. It was Scarlet Fire.
I didn't like that.
It was the red/amber ale.
Yeah, I didn't like
Scarlet Fire. Oh, yeah, well.
Was that the one with the girl that was like the hops were on fire? Like the hop dress or whatever? Yeah,
the girl with the dress in the field and stuff. Yeah, it was the amber ale, and it was about spontaneous human combustion.
Yeah.
It was that episode.
It was a good episode.
So Tighthead Brewing Co., we've talked about them before. I'll mention them briefly. 161 North Archer Avenue in Mundelein, Illinois, 60060. I included this quote in that other episode. Tighthead Brewing Company is a craft brewery located in Mundelein, a suburb of Chicago. Our brew pub is a neighborhood institution where friends and families can meet up and enjoy great music, wonderful company, and the best beer in town. Since we opened our doors in 2011, we have poured our heart and soul into every glass. Stop in and taste what we're talking about.
What we're talking about.
You can follow them on their socials at Tighthead Brewing on Facebook and at Tighthead Brew on Twitter and Instagram.
Okay.
They're doing a cool event called Hoptoberfest.
Okay.
It is Saturday. I wish I could go. It's Saturday, September 25th from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the brewery.
As a teacher, I have weekends off.
You can go to this. Unfortunately, I cannot. Saturday, September 25 from 2 to 8 at the brewery, 161 North Archer in Mundelein. This is from their website. Hoptoberfest is back. Join us for a day of great beer, food, music, and many other festivities. We will be featuring our Tighthead brews, cider from Two Fools, which is right by center stage, remember?
I don't like cider.
Okay. Seltzers,
okay.
Seltzers from Press, which is a
I have no idea.
seltzer company, and non-alcoholic beer options from Athletic Brewing all day long. So we've got tons to drink. Stay tuned for a list of special tappings and details.
Where is Mundelein?
I don't know. Food offerings such as pork schnitzel sliders.
Oh, that sounds good.
Tighthead Oktoberfest beer brat. Spätzle.
Now I'm getting hungry. Thanks a lot.
And Döner kebabs.
Döner kebab.
Described as a dope-ass German street food sandwich.
Oh, okay.
That's what it says on their website.
All right, then.
Mundelein is...
You know it's good if it says dope ass.
It's dope-ass German street food. Mundelein is just northeast of Lake Zurich. It is east of Wakanda, which we've talked about. West of Lake Forest. and north of Buffalo Grove.
Okay. I have an idea.
South of Grays Lake.
Gotcha.
So if you're listening to this, September 25th, 25th,
25.
from 2 to 8, go to the brewery, check it out. You can buy tickets online, and you get a free beer token, I think, if you do that.
Exciting.
So I wish I can go. It sounds like fun. The beer that we're going to have from Tighthead is called Chili Water.
Okay.
Now, 2 episodes ago,
yes,
we talked about tsunamis or
hurricanes.
And I mentioned that this was the beer that I was looking at, but I ended up deciding on the Central Waters one instead. So I ended up getting this one. So I was like, oh, it's another kind of water episode. And I got Chili Water by Tighthead. So I'm excited to try this because this is the other one I was looking at.
My question. Chili. Is it going to be a beer with peppers in it?
It's going to be a beer that tastes just like chili.
I'm interested.
You've
hooked me.
Joking. It is a wheat-based pale ale that is fermented very clean with American ale yeast, giving it a crisp, refreshing finish. Citra and Amarillo hops provide an aroma and flavor of mango, tangerine, and other soft citrus fruit. Warning, this beer may cause a widespread panic. Hint at the name's origin. I don't know.
Do you have any background into that?
I didn't figure that one out. No.
Just Google chili waters. Maybe it's like a slang thing.
It's an Urban Dictionary.
Yeah.
It's like a sex position.
Oh, God. Chili waters.
Chili water.
There's chili pepper water from Hawaii.
Well, it's coming up
that sounds pretty good.
It's coming up with Tighthead a lot. All these results are just Tighthead Brewing. Oh, Chili Water by Widespread Panic. So there's a band called Widespread Panic, and they have a song called Chili Water.
Okay.
There
you go.
That makes sense. We figured it out. This is an American Pale Ale. We've had plenty of APAs on the show.
We sure have.
Zombie Dust.
Yep.
Candy Crushable. Temporal Purgatory.
Candy Crush was great.
It was great.
Those other two were terrible.
Death of Cool. And last week's beer. You picked an APA. I'll talk just briefly about them. Craftbeer.com says, like many others that have become known as classic American beers, the American Pale Ale can trace its roots to beer styles from abroad. The American Pale Ale beer was inspired by the English Pale Ale, replacing its English counterparts' earthy herbal hops with generous additions of boldly citrus and pine-like American varieties. American Pale Ale beer remains a staple of the American beer world because it continues to evolve. With each passing day, independent breweries across the country are reimagining the classic Pale Ale by experimenting with local ingredients to craft flavor profiles that push the boundaries of beer. Per the website, it's good to pair with roasted or grilled meats, mild or medium cheddar, and apple pie. This beer is 4.8% ABV, 40 IBU, and 5 SRM.
A whole 5.
A whole 5.
Wow.
We do have a score on Beer Advocate for this beer. It has a score of 88.
Okay.
Very good.
That's good.
It's ranked higher than Scarlet Fire.
Yeah. Not surprised.
It's ranked 433 in APAs.
Okay.
13,430 overall.
Okay.
Not bad. And an average rating of 3.95.
3.95.
3.95. So this is a cool beer. I'm excited to try it. It's another APA. But let me go get it.
Yeah, go grab it.
I just said that. You don't have to tell me to...
Fucking fight me right now.
You want to go?
I will beat your ass. You will lose. Poorly. I will have you crying. He's got a punchable face and he knows it. You expect me to use the same glass?
No, I don't.
Oh, you grabbed you.
You want to calm down on that?
Sorry. That's my bad. Jump the gun. It's going to be really confused. It's got an anglerfish on it.
It does have an English fish on it.
And it's light as a hop.
Light as a hop?
Yeah.
Oh, it is a hop.
Yeah.
Look at that.
They really don't know how to branch out.
Enjoy all day with no need for panic. American Pale Ale. I just looked in my fridge to grab this, and because I'm not drinking, I have an insane amount of beer in my fridge now from these episodes. And I stocked up on a few, too. We've got some bonus. Oh, we could do a bonus one. I didn't do any research.
I got time.
We could do a bonus. We'll make it work. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
I gotta get a sniff.
Okay.
Smells like the one I was just drinking. You are smelling.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, jeez.
Why do you do this?
Every time. So skeptical.
It's best to be skeptical rather than not skeptical. I was gonna say unskeptical. Don't be unskeptical, kids. That bitch is foamy. Oh God, calm down. Calm down. Smells like beer. She found me. This is gonna take a while.
That's a lot of foam over there.
Do you expect anything less from me? Go for it.
Oh, you're just gonna do it?
I'm gonna go for it.
We're gonna talk about it a little bit.
I can't get really like a distinct smell from it.
It looks like
smells like an APA.
Oh, what does an APA smell like?
Go into it, then.
It looks like the last beer. The color hazy,
Sure.
Two like
a little apple juicy.
Finger length foam, apple juicy. That's a good one.
This foam likes to stick around. It's like a lemon meringue pie with how whipped it is. Being descriptive.
Yeah, apple juicy. There's apples in there for sure. Maybe orange. I feel like I say orange for every beer.
My nose is a little stuffy.
Oh, that was like me last week.
I'm working with tampered equipment.
And then, yeah, the hops. Herbal. Farmy.
APA.
But, yeah, foam sticks around. It's frothy.
Me too.
Ooh, it's nice and cold.
There's a weird aftertaste that I feel in my gums. It's smooth. It's not really like extremely hoppy in any way.
It's almost like, I don't know if it's because it's so cold, but I almost don't get anything from the initial taste.
Yeah.
It's like only after you're done swallowing and the aftertaste,
You have to get a burp.
Right. It does coat your tongue a little bit just because, I mean, it's frothy, it's foamy, so it's a thicker beer.
You get a little bit of fruit there. Get a little bit.
Yeah,
I mostly just get the fact that it's cold.
Yeah. I mean, it was in the freezer because it was room temp when I brought it here, so I wanted to make sure it could warm up a little bit.
I still get a little hint of the fruit, though. There's a little hint of the fruit. I don't mind this, actually.
All right. I thought you would dislike it more than the last week's APA.
How much did I dislike that one?
An
They all
8.
blur together after a while.
You ranked it an 8.
I didn't like that one.
It was okay. I don't know.
Impressive. I like a little bit of bam, a little shazam,
Right, but what I'm saying is I don't think this really... Okay, I get mango a little bit there. But I don't think this has a whole lot. I don't know. It's good. It's I feel like I get more hop than I get fruit.
I would agree.
This.
But also, I would just say that this one is easier to drink compared to last week's episode.
Yeah.
It's the week before.
It's pleasant.
I don't remember.
it could be a little warmer.
There's so much in this fucking can.
Yeah. I don't say that a whole lot because some of our beers are a little too warm, but
Have we ever had like a particularly warm beer?
yes. It's like, oh, that should have been refrigerated a little bit longer. But I don't know. I'd rather have it too cold than not.
Okay, there's mango in the burp.
Yeah, there's mango.
There's a lot of mango.
Mango
in the
hanging
burp.
around. Yeah?
Very foamy.
Yeah.
It's got stumps for days.
Mm. Bad name.
I will spit.
Good.
I'm not particularly blown away, but it's just easy to drink.
So higher than last week?
Yeah, I'm rated higher than last week. What do I
You've
have
got
so far?
you've got 6,
Mhm.
8, and 9. So what was 6? 51. What was 51? Not the Scotch ale. Oh no, it was the Scotch ale. Was it? No, the Scotch ale was mine. Oh, wait, man, I can't remember anything. Hold on, stand by.
Standing by.
I don't even know what beers we drank. There we go. 51 was Party Pillow. The Hefeweizen. Oh my God, how could I forget that? And then we had the Scotch ale, which was mine, and then Four Chord Wonder APA.
Alright, I'm gonna bump the Hefeweizen up to a 5 and give this a 6.
I guess 4. Okay. It's that beer. It's tasty. Thanks, Tighthead.
Where do I want to start?
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, the ocean is vast.
Yeah.
The oceans are vast. There's not just one.
Do you talk about that one, the one point in the water where it's like, point in ocean farthest, oh God, I can't type, farthest from land. This,
No. What is that?
it's Point Nemo. It's the location in the ocean that's farthest from all land masses.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, you
I would
can't,
not want to be there.
farthest point from the sea.
Is it like a little island?
I don't know. I think it's just, I don't know if it's an island. I think it's just a spot in the ocean.
Oh.
But then there's also, like a globe.
Mhm.
If you turn it a certain way, there's a way you can rotate it to where the entire face of the globe that's facing you is just ocean, or at least most of it. It's just the entire, I think it's the Atlantic Sea. It's crazy. There's so much water. Tell us about it.
It's crazy. Look at all that water.
Oh my God, what's all that doing there?
The ocean. So the sea, or the world ocean, is the body of salt water which covers approximately 71% of the surface of the earth and contains 97% of Earth's water. It's a lot of water.
That's
That's a very high percentage.
97.
97% of Earth's water. That's crazy. Otherwise known as the Pacific, which is the largest, Atlantic, Indian, Southern, and Arctic, which is the smallest.
Mm-hmm.
Seawater covers approximately, oh boy, large numbers, 139 million square miles of the planet.
Damn.
It's crazy. I go, scroll.
Squirrel.
Oceanographers, which I dream to be.
I want to be one of those.
That sounds like a cool ass job. Divide the ocean into different vertical and horizontal zones based on physical and biological conditions. The pelagic zone consists of the water column.
Oh my god, you sound so smart.
Thanks for noticing. It's all a facade. It's all a fake-aid. Consists of the water column from surface to ocean floor throughout the open ocean. The water column is further categorized in other zones depending on depth and how much light is present. The photic zone includes water from the surface to a depth of 200 meters, where photosynthesis can occur.
Oh, in the water. That's right.
I feel like there was a show that was like photosynthesis, where people were just chanting photosynthesis.
Oh, there's a SpongeBob episode where he's like, photosynthesis.
Yeah.
Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis.
This makes the photic zone the most biodiverse.
Uh-huh.
Photosynthesis by plants and microscopic algae, which are free-floating phytoplankton, if you didn't know.
That's a tongue twister.
Say that 5 times fast. Don't really.
Oh.
Creates organic matter from chemical precursors like water and carbon dioxide. This upper sunlit zone is the origin of the food supply, which sustains most of the ocean's ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Light only penetrates to a depth of a few hundred meters. The remaining ocean below is cold and dark. The continental shelf, where the ocean approaches dry land, is more shallow with a depth of a few hundred meters or less.
Okay.
Interesting. Ocean temperatures depend on the amount of solar radiation reaching the ocean's surface.
Uh-huh.
In the tropics, surface temperatures can rise to over 86 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ooh, that's hot.
Or 30 degrees Celsius. Near the poles, where sea ice forms, the temperature in equilibrium is about 28 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ooh,
or
that's
negative
cold.
2 degrees Celsius.
Oof.
Deep seawater temperature is between 28 degrees Fahrenheit and 41 degrees Fahrenheit in all parts of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Water continuously circulates in the ocean, creating ocean currents.
Mm-hmm.
These directed movements of seawater are generated by forces acting upon the water, including temperature differences, atmospheric circulation, such as wind,
Mm-hmm.
the Coriolis effect, can't get away from that,
Oh, yeah.
and differences in salinity.
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 Salt.
Sus.
Difference in sus.
Tidal currents originate from tides, while surface currents are caused by wind and waves. Major ocean currents include the Gulf Stream, Kuroshio Current, Agulhas Current, and Antarctic Circumpolar Current. Collectively, currents move enormous amounts of water and heat around the globe. This circulation significantly impacts global climate and the uptake and redistribution of pollutants such as carbon dioxide by moving these contaminants from the surface into the deep ocean. Oh. You sound like a turtle. Ocean water contains large quantities of dissolved gases, including oxygen, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen. This gas exchange... There's a clip I gotta show you.
Oh, gosh. Gas exchange.
That's my I'm looking for things song.
I like it.
Thanks for noticing.
Put it on Spotify.
Glad you got here when you did. I've been crying for hours. That's the tears.
I just want the one scene. Jesus. She farted. Like a fart transplant. That was relevant and important to the...
Yeah, I'm glad I saw that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Zach Galifianakis, come on.
Uh-huh.
Where was I?
Ooh, what happened over there? Something flickered.
Concerning. We okay? We good?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, just make sure.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
The terms the ocean or the sea, used without specification, refer to the interconnected body of salt water covering the majority of the Earth's surface. Includes the seas that I mentioned.
Uh-huh.
Too lazy. As a general term, the ocean is interchangeable with the sea.
Yeah.
In American English, but not in British English.
Of course.
They
Yeah.
gotta be uppity.
No, those Brits need specificity.
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 Strictly speaking, a sea is a body of water, generally a division of the world ocean, partly or fully enclosed by land. The word sea can also be used for many specific, much smaller bodies of seawater, such as the North Sea or the Red Sea.
Right. Or the Black Sea.
There is no sharp distinction between seas and oceans, though generally seas are smaller and often partly or wholly bordered by land.
Makes sense.
The contemporary concept of the world ocean was coined in what? Do you mean to stop?
No.
Was coined in the early 20th century by the Russian, I almost said Yushin. The Yushins. By the Russian oceanographer Yuli Shokalsky to refer to the continuous ocean that covers and encircles most of Earth. The global interconnected body of salt water is sometimes referred to as the world ocean or global ocean. The concept of a continuous body of water with relatively free interchange among its parts is of fundamental importance to oceanography.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it is.
You know how oceanographers do.
In oceanography. We're so well versed in it.
Yeah. I could talk about oceanography for hours.
I know so much about it. Say that word again. Salinity.
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 Salt.
Salinity is a measure of the total amounts of dissolved salts in seawater. It was originally measured via measurement of the amount of chloride in seawater and hence termed chlorinity. It is now routinely measured by measuring electrical conductivity of the water sample.
Jeez.
Salinity can be calculated using the chlorinity. There's a lot of inities going on here. Which is the measure of the total mass of halogen ions in seawater. There's math involved.
Oh,
I'm skipping it.
Can't. Thank you.
It's too much. Salinity has a major influence on the density of seawater.
Right.
A zone of rapid salinity increase with depths is called a halcyon, I think. The temperature of maximum density of seawater decreases as its salt content increases. Freezing temperature of water decreases with salinity, and boiling temperature of water increases with salinity.
Right.
Typical seawater freezes at around -2 degrees Celsius at atmospheric pressure. If precipitation exceeds evaporation, as is the case in polar and temperate regions, salinity will be lower. If evaporation exceeds precipitation, as is sometimes the case in tropical regions, salinity will be higher.
Okay.
You good over there?
Yeah, I'm following. Yep.
Okay. Interesting. However, the formation of sea ice at high latitudes excludes salt from the ice and thereby increases salinity in the residual seawater in some polar regions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got warm. Life. What did you talk about again? Just a story of someone being German. I'm just making sure. Okay.
Just a story.
Life within the ocean evolved 3 billion years prior to life on land.
Yeah.
Both the depth and the distance from shore strongly influence the biodiversity of plants and animals present in each region.
We all came from fish.
I thought we all came from apes.
But where did apes come from?
From fish.
We all came from fish.
We're all fucking fish.
Yep, we're all fish.
Who's calling me right now? The diversity of life in the ocean is immense, including animals and other creatures. There are definitely animals in there.
I'm almost certain there are animals in the ocean.
I could put my finger on it right now.
I would bet at least $10.
that there's at least one animal in the
There's
ocean.
got to be one.
We haven't done an episode on sharks or anything. Most animal phyla have species that inhabit the ocean, including many that are only found in marine environments, such as sponges. I don't know how to pronounce it. Cinderia, I think. Which are corals and jellyfish.
Coral.
Comb jellies, brachiopods, and echinoderms.
Yeah.
Such as sea urchins and sea stars. As an
Sea
example.
anemones.
Did I say sea anemones?
Anemones.
Did I say anemones? Many other familiar animal groups primarily live in the ocean, including cephalopods, which are octopus and squid, crustaceans, lobsters, crabs, and shrimp. And then there's fish, sharks, whales, dolphins, and porpoises.
And then these really scary motherfuckers right here.
Yeah, anglerfish.
Yeah.
Little assholes. And then, of course, we have seabirds, sea snakes, seabirds such as the penguins, seagulls, and pelicans.
Oh. I don't know why.
Did you think there were birds swimming in the ocean?
I was imagining a hawk like
Flying through the ocean.
through the water.
7 species of turtles.
Mm.
Good times.
I like turtles.
Plants such as seagrasses or mangroves.
Mm-hmm.
Algae.
Algae.
Bacteria, which is in everything. We're all bacteria.
Yeah, there's tons of it in our bodies.
Fungi,
Mm-hmm.
which is also a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
Good old killer whales, stuff that lives in the ocean.
Yeah.
Good times.
Good times. But it's scary because the ocean's really deep.
The ocean.
I hope you talk about that because it's the deeper you go, it's the more scary shit you find in the water. And we just like on land, we don't know all of everything that exists on land, but especially in water, when it comes to our oceans, there's still so many life forms that we have not discovered yet in the very deep depths of the water.
Well, the Pacific Ocean has a max depth of 36,161 feet.
Ugh.
The Atlantic Ocean has 27,841. 27,841. Indian Ocean is 26,401. Arctic Ocean is 17,881. That goes into the seas and stuff.
Yeah.
But there is one location, the Mariana Trench.
Mm-hmm.
It is located in the western Pacific Ocean, about 124 miles east of the Mariana Islands, and it is the deepest oceanic trench on Earth. It is crescent-shaped and measures about 1,580 miles in length and 43 miles in width. The maximum known depth is 36,037 feet, which is 6.825 miles.
That's
At the southern end of a small slot-shaped valley in its floor known as the Challenger Deep.
wait, 6.6 miles?
6.825 miles. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
82 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
82 feet?
So it's 82 feet.
82 feet's not 6 miles.
I don't know, I'm just reading what The maximum known depth is 36,037 feet.
Yes. Yeah. Didn't Elon Musk go down there?
I thought that, what's his name? James Cameron.
James Cameron went down there.
Yeah, Elon Musk did not explore the ocean.
Okay, well, it's something Elon Musk would do.
Elon Musk and his child that's named after, like, a cereal barcode. Do you see his kid's name? XEA12E.
No shit.
I'm not kidding. I'm going to look it up for you right
Oh
now.
my god. It's fucked up.
Elon Musk child.
It seems like something that Elon Musk would do. But yes, James Cameron went to the
That is his child's name.
Mariana Trench. What a
He hates him.
fucking asshole.
Who does that to their kid? Must be a terrible child.
God.
That poor infant baby.
He's gonna grow up. Here I'm thinking he's like gonna go to public schools and shit. Guess that's just what I did.
No, he's going to go to an expensive school for like rich kids that has a secret sex cult.
And no professor is gonna have to ever pronounce his name because they're just gonna know who he is.
And you're just going to be like, Elon Musk's child. He'll be like, present.
They're not gonna do roll call like the substitute teacher from Kane Peele.
No. Balake.
Jake Quillen.
However, some unrepeated measurements place the deepest portion at 36,201 feet. If Mount Everest were hypothetically placed into the trench at this point, its peak would still be underwater by more than 1.2 miles.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, so the deepest
The
part
ocean is deep.
the deepest part of the ocean is deeper than the tallest mountain on land.
Yeah, dude. At the bottom of the trench, the water column above exerts a pressure of 15,750 psi, more than 1,071 times the standard atmospheric pressure at sea level.
Yeah, it'd blow you up.
Yeah, it would. The temperature at the bottom is 34 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit.
Nice and cozy.
In 2009, the Marianas Trench was established as a U.S. national monument.
A U.S. national
Are you
monument.
making fun of the way I speak? That seems low.
It's not like we do it all the time on this.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never done that once.
Wait, it's a monument? A national monument?
The U.S. national monument.
Wait, why is it a U.S. national monument?
Because the U.S. takes what they want.
But it's like so far away from the U.S.
It's fine. Don't question it.
Well, it's like that'll be the one monument that I'll probably never get to be able to visit. And that's
Just gonna take a little boat out in the Pacific Ocean to
makes me
Marianas
sad.
Trench.
Yeah,
Do you have a list of national monuments that you want to see?
I'll swim down there. Well, we saw one.
No.
It was cool.
Anyways. There was an expedition conducted in 1960 which claimed to observe, with great surprise because of the high pressure, large creatures living at the bottom, such as a flatfish, about 12 inches long, and shrimp. According to Picard, not the guy from Star Trek, the bottom appeared light and clear, a waste of firm diatomaceous ooze.
Oh,
I don't like anything being called ooze.
it's oozy.
Many marine biologists are now skeptical of the supposed sighting of the flatfish, and it is suggested that the creature may instead have been a sea cucumber. How do you get those two confused? During the second expedition, the unmanned vehicle Keiko collected mud samples from the seabed. Tiny organisms were found to be living in those samples.
I don't doubt it.
In July 2011, a research expedition deployed untethered landers called drop cams, equipped with digital video cameras and lights to explore this region of the deep sea. Among many other living organisms, some gigantic single-celled amoebas with a size of more than 4 inches were observed.
Wow.
Those are big amoebas.
That's a big amoeba. Yeah.
Crazy.
Big boy.
In December of 2014, a new species of snailfish was discovered at a depth of 26,722 feet, breaking the previous record for the deepest living fish seen on video.
Wow.
During the 2014 expedition, several new species were filmed, including huge amphiophods, known as supergiants. Deep-sea gigantism is the process where species grow larger than their shallow water relatives.
Yeah, that's scary.
In May of 2017, an unidentified type of snailfish was filmed at a depth of 26,800 feet.
Did we talk about giant squids?
We did.
The
'cause
Kraken.
We talked about the Kraken.
Okay. Yeah, I think I talked. One of us may have talked briefly about deep sea gigantism, and that's terrifying.
Crazy. Like other oceanic trenches, the Mariana Trench has been proposed as a site for nuclear waste disposal
Why?
in 1972, in the hope that tectonic plate subduction occurring at the site might eventually push the nuclear waste deep into the Earth's mantle, because that's safe. Push nuclear explosive close to lava. That works.
Where should we put all of this garbage? I don't know,
Near
just
something fiery.
the deepest point of our Earth.
Yeah.
Just get it as far away from us as
Toss
possible.
it in there. I'm having flashbacks to Garbage Island.
Yeah, you're still littering. It's just long distance littering.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Out of sight, out of mind, right?
Exactly.
Silly, silly people.
Why aren't we just launching things into space?
Wouldn't it just all come back?
Not if you shoot it, like far enough.
There was a
out of our-
Futurama episode about this.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have to
Oh,
learn.
you know what? Yeah, giant ball of garbage. Fuck.
And
Forgot
Matt
about
Groening predicted the future on so many things. from The
Yeah.
Simpsons. So do you really want to question that?
that. No. See that?
See?
That seems smart, but then
Yeah.
Futurama did it, so.
Yeah, exactly. Backfired.
Mm-hmm.
Bart Simpsons came back. Remember? Embarrassing. Now to move on. Thalassophobia
Yes.
is the persistent and intense fear of deep bodies of water, such as the sea, oceans, pools, or lakes. Though very closely related, thalassophobia should not be mistaken with aquaphobia, which is classified as a fear of water itself.
Uh-huh.
How do you fear water?
If you have rabies.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you, smarty pants.
Yep.
Thalassophobia can include fear of being in deep bodies of water, fear of the vast emptiness of the ocean, or sea waves, sea creatures, and fear of distance from land.
Yes.
The causes of thalassophobia are not clear and are a subject, get a burp, interesting burp, of research by medical professionals, as they can vary greatly between individuals. Researchers have proposed that the fear of large bodies of water is partly a human evolutionary response. I would imagine like a fear of heights.
Right.
And may also be related to popular culture influences, which induce fright and distress.
Mm.
The severity of thalassophobia and the signs and symptoms associated with it are quite fluid and complex.
They're fluid, huh?
You're so gross.
Gosh, jeez. You want to do this now? Keep going with your research. Keep your section going.
Those who suffer from thalassophobia go through numerous episodes of emotional and physical anguish caused by a variety of triggers. Treatment may comprise a combination of therapy, and I don't know how to pronounce this, so I'm not gonna pronounce it for me. Anxiolytics. Anxiolytics?
Anxiolytics. That's what I would say.
And is most effective when administered to patients during childhood, when thalassophobia is generally at its peak.
Yeah.
I guess as a kid, I would be more scared of large bodies of water.
Yeah, if you were in the middle of the ocean and then
you're
all
so
you
tiny.
all you could see is water. Yeah.
Disposable. I mean, not disposable.
You're so tiny and disposable.
Whoops. It is thought that the fear of large bodies of water is an evolutionary and ancestral trait. Passed on from generation to generation. Humans prefer certainty to risk and adapt based on learning history and situational variables. A 2016 study by Nicholas Carlton, not Nicolas Cage, establishes that the fear of unknown is an evolutionary mechanism that has driven the survival of the human race since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Showing fear toward deep bodies of water is in effect justified, since ancestors to the human race understood that their survival was reliant on remaining in territorial land and not aquatic environments. This, in return, developed into a fundamental fear passing down from generation to generation in order to ensure the survival of humankind.
Interesting. That makes sense to me. Mm-hmm.
Martin Antony, a professor of psychology at Ryerson University and co-author of the Anti-Anxiety Workbook, states that...
Oh, I need that.
Yeah, you do. States that from an evolutionary perspective, it makes sense that humans would develop a tendency to fear and avoid deep water because of all the associated risks.
Mm-hmm.
He continues by saying, we are essentially programmed through evolution to fear some situations. Heights, deep water, snakes, more easily than others. Flowers, teddy bears. I fear teddy bears.
They're frightening.
I love grizzly bears. I'm going to pet one and die.
That's how I'm going to go. Hugging a grizzly.
That's how I want to go. Shredded by claws. In Judeo-Christian belief systems, the sea is often depicted as a space of disaster and punishment.
Oh.
This is evident in the first book of the Bible, Genesis, through stories such as as Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
And texts like William Shakespeare's The Tempest. Featured a shipwreck as the driving force behind its narrative and gave the sea an otherworldly and evil personification. And then, of course, movies such as Jaws, Titanic.
Yeah. We talked about Jaws and Sharks episode.
Other causes of thalassophobia could be a negative or past traumatic event, such as your parent throwing you into the pool on the deep end to teach you to swim, which seemed to be a common occurrence for a lot of people.
Yep.
That happened to my little sister.
I just figure it out.
Honestly.
Actually, what it is.
It's like riding a bike. Toss. It's like, that's not like riding a bike at all. Where are the handlebars?
I can't drown if I fall off of a bike,
No.
but I sure as hell
I sure
can.
as hell can in this pool. Traumatic experiences of being frightened while swimming or almost drowning are also leading causes of thalassophobia. In addition to this, observing others, particularly parental figures and other influential adults who also had a fear of deep water, are considered contributing factors. What is a factor? For developing thalassophobia later in life. Scientists also believe that genetics and biological heredity play a major role in attaining a fear of seas, oceans, and lakes. Such genetic factors include having a family member with thalassophobia, personal mental states such as being negative, sensitive, or anxious, and even hearing terrifying stories on water accidents.
Yeah.
Thalassophobia is characterized by certain physical and emotional traits exhibited by an individual. The reaction that those who suffer from thalassophobia show toward large bodies of water does not match the level of danger that the water poses to them.
Right.
Hence, they illustrate abnormal behavior under situations or environments which trigger their fear. Anxiety-induced phobia, such as thalassophobia, presents itself through specific signs and symptoms. Constant worrying, trouble falling or staying asleep, panic and anxiety attacks, having a sense of imminent doom, needing to escape, feeling detached from the situation, being overwhelmed. Those are mental common phobia or common symptoms. Physical symptoms include shortness of breath, sweating, shaking or trembling at the sight of the sea, weeping or running away when near deep bodies of water, nausea, dizziness, rapid breathing, screaming or shouting at the sight of the sea. Ah! The sea!
Ah! Ah!
It's the ocean! And everyone at the beach is just like, yeah, good
Bruh.
job. It's the ocean.
Yeah, chill out, please.
We don't understand. It's so scary. According to the Diagnostic and Statistic Manual of Mental Disorders, the 5th edition,
Oh, wow.
which is a manual for assessment and diagnosis of mental disorders developed by the American Psychiatric Association. In order to be diagnosed with a phobia of deep bodies of water, the individual's fear of deep water must be persistent, excessive, and unreasonable. The individual must feel this fear every time they are exposed to deep or open water. They must either avoid the ocean or other open bodies of water or endure them with intense fear. The individual's fear of large bodies of water interferes with their normal functioning, and the individual's fear has been present for 6 months or longer.
Oh.
As far as treatment goes, cognitive behavioral therapy, we've been there before.
Yep. We've both done that before.
Systematic desensitization.
Yep.
And exposure therapy,
Yes.
which we talked about before, as well as medications that can be used
Mm-hmm.
to treat your reactions to it.
Yeah.
Got one other part, but I don't know if I want to do it.
Up to you.
My knee hurts.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'll leave it there. I gotta pee.
Okay, go pee.
I'm gonna.
You should get a chiropractor. Go see a chiropractor.
That was random.
And fix your knee. You said your knee hurts.
It does hurt. It always hurts.
Oh, go see
I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna fall over.
a bone doctor. Yeah.
I'll give you a bone doctor.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, it's probably on the couch.
Oh, 100%. just smacked myself in the face.
Oh, waiting for my computer to wake up.
All right. I had a lot of talking to do, so not surprised it fell asleep.
I got a lot of talking to do.
Do you really?
Yes. I have a long story.
Okay.
Long story.
Long story.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I slacked on my research again. I did it last minute, and I didn't really know what I wanted to cover. I mean, it's a very broad topic that we chose, the sea. Oh, everything okay over there?
What? Where? Oh, God.
Okay. So I was very conflicted as to what I wanted to cover. I'm going to read an article. I'm going to be lazy. I didn't do any of my own research. I'm just going to read this thing. It's a long story, but it's about a man who was stranded.
I genuinely love those movies.
He was lost at sea. Like, this is kind of like Castaway, like a real life Castaway.
Castaway. Tom Hanks. Oh.
So the title of this article is How Jose Salvador Alvarenga Survived 438 Days Adrift on the Open Seas.
That is so long.
It's over a year. Two fishermen, one perfect storm, an incredible story of human survival on the open seas was about to begin.
Why is it slow charging?
By Jonathan Franklin. Published November 19, 2015.
Okay.
On November 17th, 2012, Jose Salvador Alvarenga, 37, and Ezequiel Cordoba, 22, set out from the small fishing village of Costa Azul on the coast of Mexico to begin a 30-hour deep-sea fishing shift. Their vessel was a 7-meter fiberglass boat containing a refrigerator-sized icebox in which to stash their planned haul of shark, sailfish, and marlin. But when a violent storm front began its advance from the northeast, the two men soon found themselves battling 5-meter high waves and 100-kilometer-per-hour winds. I don't know what that is in miles per hour. Within hours, both the motor on their boat and their radio had died. Their colleagues launched search and rescue missions for 2 weeks to no avail. Alvarenga and Cordoba and their vessel appeared to have vanished into thin air. November 23rd, 2012, Day 6. 450 kilometers off Mexico's coast. After 5 days of careening waves and screaming wind, the storm finally eased. Miraculously, the two men's boat had not flipped. The sea anchor off the stern had aligned the bow to the oncoming waves and allowed the men to survive day after day, bashing and crashing through incoming waves. Now they awoke to a freakish calm. As Alvarenga and Cordoba scanned the horizon, the lack of waves distorted their depth perception. A styrofoam block just a kilometer away could be distorted into looking like an aircraft carrier on the horizon. Objects 30 meters deep were magnified and distorted by the water. Like a traveler lost in a desert, the men had no certainty that what they saw or heard actually existed. Puddles of seawater sloshed at their ankles, a reminder that despite nonstop bailing, the two men had never fully emptied the boat of water. The Yamaha motor lacked cover and cord. It looked naked. Nearly all the fishing gear was floating in the sea kilometers away, and their fouled communications gear now lay at the bottom of the ocean. Taking stock of their tools and supplies was disturbingly quick. A long wooden plank, one gray bucket with some clothes, a battered fishing knife with a cracked handle, a trusty machete, a wooden club, the empty icebox with lid, a pile of bleach bottles, a small pile of nylon rope, the useless motor, and one red onion found wedged under a seat after the 5-day tumult.
How did an onion get wedged under the seat?
Oh.
That's what I take away from that.
Yeah, some guy put it there and forgot about it.
Well, that's weird.
Or had it been a 4-day storm? Time was increasingly elastic in this world without clocks or calendars. Let me see. Oh, this is a long story.
Commit to it.
Okay, this is gonna take a while. Buckle up. As the morning sunlight comforted and warmed them, the fishermen hoisted the 2-meter-long wooden plank from the door, laid it across 2 benches that crossed the boat like central ribs, and prepared a bed. The men stripped off their wet clothes and, clad only in underwear, stretched out to sop up the first glints of sunlight. They collapsed into a deep sleep. They awoke with a painful thirst. Coconuts were everywhere, and the floating fruit tortured Alvarenga. He could see them swirl by, could almost taste the chilled coconut water. He spotted a solitary bobbing sphere, then an entire clutch of coconuts like huge grapes, drifted near and dared him to swim out. Alvarenga was not tempted. He knew the risks, even if he didn't actually see the fins of patrolling sharks. If they'd had either a sail or a pair of oars, the men could have set a course, but lacking the tools, they drifted at the whim of the wind and ocean currents.
Why couldn't they just paddle with their little fingies?
Swerving, looping, and zigzagging across the wide open Pacific. As they drifted west at approximately 120 kilometers a day, the nearest landmass in their path was a single tiny blip on the map. Clipperton Island, a remnant of Napoleonic conquest, still under French rule, but a lonely outpost 1,600 kilometers west. To the south, the closest islands were the Galapagos, 1770 kilometers distant on the other side of the equator. Alvarenga sensed they were in a different world. The sea was so calm it was unnerving. The temperature soared above 30 degrees Celsius, very hot, and the dry air teased the remaining moisture from their bodies. When Alvarenga swallowed, the spittle seemed to bump and rattle down his throat. He worried that his throat might swell and cut off access to his stomach. Was this the way he was going to die? Cordoba's lips were swollen to twice their normal size, and sucked dry by the sun, began to crack. Red welts caused by salt blocking up his sweat pores began to pop out along his arms and legs, breaking the layers of skin that were now shrunken and tight. It felt like his skin would pop open and lay bare the muscles and tendons beneath. Lethargy laid siege to his normal functions. November 25th, 2012, Day 8. As they drifted southwest, Alvarenga eyed the small triggerfish, 18 centimeters long, that had been chewing on his boat the night before. Known as sea piranhas, the triggerfish practically sanded the bottom of the boat clean with their teeth. He kneeled alongside the edge of the boat, eyes scanning for sharks, and shoved his arms into the water up to his shoulders. With his chest tightly pressed to the side of the boat, Alvarenga set a trap for the fish. He kept his hands steady, about 30 centimeters apart. When a fish swam between them, he smashed them shut, digging his fingernails into the rough scales. Soon he was able to capture as many as 30 of the small fish in a single session. The men set up a mini fish processing plant. Alvarenga would snare them, and with the fishing knife, Cordoba expertly cleaned and sliced the flesh into finger-sized strips that were left to dry in the sun. When Cordoba dumped the bloody innards of the palm-sized triggerfish into the water, it was rarely more than a few minutes before mako and blue sharks feasted. The 1-meter-long sharks scraped their rough skin along the bottom of the boat, sending up a jolting blow and a noisy reminder of how little separated these two worlds were. Alvarenga began to drink his urine. He wasn't embarrassed, and he encouraged Cordoba to follow suit. It was salty but not revolting as he drank, urinated, drank again, peed again in a cycle that felt like it provided at least minimal hydration to his body. But urine being filled with salts throws the body's internal equilibriums off balance and requires the body to consume even more precious water in an attempt to flush out the salts. It was, both men realized, a desperate measure. December 10, 2012, Day 23. 1,480 kilometers off of Mexico's coast. With their rainwater collection exhausted once more, a dehydrated Cordoba pleaded with Alvarenga. "Oranges, bring me oranges." Alvarenga stood above the prone man and assured him food was close. "Okay, I'm going to the store. I will see if it's open to bring you some food," he said with conviction as he pointed to the horizon. "I will get tamales, oranges, and shrimp." Alvarenga strode with confidence for the few seconds it took to cross the length of the boat. After waiting for 5 minutes in silence, he strode back with bad news. "The store is closed, but don't worry, they open in an hour, and they have fresh tortillas." To his surprise, the scheme worked. Cordoba stopped moaning and fell asleep. The game of visiting the store brought Alvarenga a few hours of respite from the cloud of fear that had seized Cordoba's mind and rarely loosened its grip on the despairing young fisherman. He had begun to shrink, especially around his eyes, and Alvarenga couldn't avoid noticing the similarity between the skull and crossbones insignia stamped on the younger man's hoodie and his ever more bony face. Alvarenga's girth, too, was several sizes smaller, and his strength was ebbing away, but his mind remained sharp. 15 years older and a veteran of countless misadventures at sea, Alvarenga maintained an indefatigable.
Do you want me to just look at it? What?
Indefatigable.
Okay, we're supposed to know that.
Alvarenga maintained an indefatigable will to survive,
Killed
but
it.
ravaged by thirst and hunger, he recognized their collective health was slipping rapidly. Yet all around them, the sea teemed with life. Alvarenga felt he was in a cage where food was showcased tantalizingly. Food was showcased tantalizingly just out of reach. Above their boat, the sky was dotted with the angular wings of gliding seabirds. On the horizon, fish chased by predators leapt out of the ocean. At sea level, islands of refuse washed by. Alvarenga, a skilled hunter on land, began to stalk the seabirds. Crouched flat like a soldier crawling through a battlefield, Alvarenga waited for a bird to land. When it first perched, the bird was attentive for several minutes, swinging its eyes, surveying the scene. Alvarenga didn't move. Instead, he waited until the bird's defenses relaxed. When the bird busied itself eating fleas, lice, or whatever parasites lurked deep inside its plumage, he inched across the deck of the boat. Alvarenga avoided eye contact as he stalked his prey. When he crept closer, the bird snapped to attention, so Alvarenga froze again as the bird resumed preening. When his prey was within reach, Alvarenga slid his arm up the side of the boat, his fingers clenched in a fist. Then he extended his fingers in slow motion, careful not to scrape the side of the boat. In a lightning instant, he had the bird's neck in one hand and a leg in the other, wary of stories that wild birds aim for the eyeball. Alvarenga kept the thrashing bird, which he called a duck, at arm's length until a short crack confirmed he had broken its neck. An expert with a knife, Alvarenga felt like he was showing off as he cleaned the meager catch and laid out strips of glistening flesh. He added his only condiment, drops of seawater, onto the strips warmed in the afternoon sun. He and Cordoba sat down to eat. Alvarenga popped a sashimi-sized chunk of raw duck, quote, duck, into his mouth and chewed with gusto. Cordoba made a costly mistake. He smelled the seabird meat. Unlike his mate who conjured gourmet flavors, Cordoba was revolted at the stench like that of rotten fish. For 4 days, Alvarenga alternatively threatened and cajoled the younger man to eat raw bird meat. Finally, the despondent mate took a tentative bite. Hunger had vanquished revulsion. Now in their 4th week adrift, the two men abandoned traditional modesty and walked naked, squatted on the rim of the boat next to the motor to defecate into the sea, then washed themselves with seawater. To pee, they stood and urinated into the ocean. From roughly 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., the men escaped the sun by living inside the icebox. It was crowded, stinky, uncomfortable, and painful to wedge two bodies into the box, but the men recognized that this inconvenience mattered little compared with the shelter it provided from the harsh sun. December 23rd, 2012, day 36. Watching the moon grow bright, Alvarenga calculated Christmas was near. He diced 4 entire birds for their big meal. He had now learnt not to pluck the feathers, but to expertly peel the skin off the birds. A full bird, including the gut, provided as much meat as a hamburger, while salt water helped mask the stench. On the evening they estimated was Christmas Eve, as the men chatted, cleaned the birds, and commenced their traditional meal, if there could be anything traditional about slicing, dicing, and eating raw sea ducks. Cordoba coughed. "My stomach," he groaned as his eyes bulged like he was going to be sick. Bubbles and liquid dribbled from his mouth as a sudden, wrenching pain convulsed his body. Alvarenga handed him a half-liter bottle filled with rainwater, and, ignoring their rations, Cordoba sucked the bottle down and then spat it out. Whatever had taken hold of his gut held tight, and the pain intensified. The men dissected the intestines of Cordoba's duck and found a 15-centimeter articulated skeleton. The skin had fallen off and most of the meat was gone, but enough remained for them to identify the remains of a venomous, yellow-bellied sea snake. "Chanka, there's a snake inside here," Cordoba exclaimed. "Yeah, and you already ate it," responded Alvarenga. "Shit, I'm going to vomit," stuttered Cordoba. As he screamed and spewed white bubbles, Alvarenga wondered if the poison had entered his mate's bloodstream. Was it fatal? How did it kill victims? Watching as a bubbly foam leaked out of his companion's mouth and listening to his guttural groans, Alvarenga considered his own fate. Had he also been poisoned? Alvarenga didn't get sick, and after 4 hours of retching and coughing, Cordoba stabilized. The men huddled, looking for subtle signs of improvement, aware the poison might have spread to other organs. The men tried to recall cases of bites by the yellow-bellied snake, but they had only heard third-hand versions, and their only firm conclusion was that even the most hardened fishermen gave the snake a wide berth and tried to decapitate it with a machete. The venom was not fatal, and Cordoba made a full physical recovery within 2 days. But in the realm of psychological terror, the poison possessed him. He retched at the thought of eating another raw seabird and withdrew from the world of food. Never again would he feast on one of Alvarenga's ducks. With 2 decades' experience at sea, Alvarenga was an environment that felt like home. Cordoba was confused and lost. The back-and-forth swells and rocking were driving him mad. Could they just be still for a minute? When the waves were more than a meter high, and especially when the wind made them choppy, he began to vomit. It was a crude symptom of his overall physiological collapse. The 2 castaways were starting to veer off on different trajectories. March 1st, 2013, day 104. 4,180 kilometers off of Mexico's coast. Even with a new stock of water, courtesy of a storm, and a more reliable food supply, Cordoba sank deeper into depression. Both men were now fully hydrated, but since the fateful dinner with the snake, Cordoba had maintained his steadfast refusal to eat raw birds. As he withered and shriveled, his arms began to look like sticks. His thighs were reduced to the size of a forearm. "Are you going to eat me?" Cordoba asked. Alvarenga joked that his mate was so emaciated that there was hardly any meat left. And besides, said Alvarenga, they had a stock of 3 live turtles, a small flock of birds, and dried strips of fish. To keep the captive birds from flying off, Alvarenga would break the bones in one wing. It was a cruel measure, but an essential part of his survival. Alvarenga's bird hunting techniques were now so effective he was eating a bird every day, sometimes 2, and his weight had stabilized. Cordoba tolerated the occasional turtle meat and fresh triggerfish, but there was never enough to slow his overall deterioration. Fear of food had become his new mantra. He asked Alvarenga to make a promise. "Don't eat me," he begged. "If I die, put my body up on the prow. Tie me to the front of the boat." "Stop talking nonsense. No one is dying," Alvarenga replied, though he suspected this was no longer true.
I'd eat him.
Even after the venom?
I'd eat him.
Cordoba imagined it was better to die in the ocean than starve to death in the boat, and concocted a kamikaze plan. He would wait for the shark pack to thicken and then jump into the water. When the sharks were gorging on bird entrails, he moved near the edge of the boat. "Goodbye, Chanka," he said, and prepared to throw himself over the rail. Alvarenga grabbed the skinny young mate. They fought and wrestled, but Alvarenga overpowered Cordoba, and a bear hug dragged him along the floor and stuffed him into the icebox. Cordoba began to bang and thrash, but the icebox alone weighed close to 50 kilograms, and with Alvarenga climbing atop, Cordoba found it impossible to tilt the box to one side and escape. "You need to stop thinking about killing yourself," Alvarenga yelled through its walls. When Cordoba calmed, Alvarenga slid off the top of the icebox, lifted the edge, and crawled inside. The 2 men talked. Alvarenga listened to Cordoba's arguments that their deaths was inevitable, and in response he outlined a recovery plan. They just had to hold out, to maintain reliable access to shade, water, and nourishment. "This is such a story, and we can tell it. We have to fight to tell our story," argued Alvarenga. Cordoba's defiance resumed. He angrily demanded the opportunity to end his own life. When Alvarenga again restrained him inside the box, Cordoba began to beat his fists against his face and slam his head into the wall. Alvarenga watched as his partner rolled into a fetal ball, cried loudly, screamed, yelled, then finally fell asleep. March 15th, 2013, day 118.
There's 438 of these days.
Doesn't go through the whole article.
Oh, thank God.
I am dying, I am dying, I am almost gone, said Cordoba one morning before breakfast. Don't think about that. Let's take a nap, said Alvarenga as he lay alongside Cordoba. I am tired. I want water, Cordoba moaned. His breath was rough. Alvarenga retrieved the water bottle and put it to Cordoba's mouth, but his mate did not swallow. Instead, he stretched out. His body shook in short convulsions. He groaned, and his body tensed up. Don't die, said Alvarenga, who suddenly panicked. He screamed into Cordoba's face, Don't leave me alone. You have to fight for life. What am I going to do here alone? Cordoba didn't reply. Moments later, he died with his eyes open. I propped him up on the bench to keep him out of the water, said Alvarenga. I was afraid a wave might wash him out of the boat. I cried for hours. Alvarenga woke the next morning, climbed out of the icebox, and stared at Cordoba in the bow of the boat, sitting on the bench like a sunbather. Alvarenga queried the corpse. How do you feel? How was your sleep? Alvarenga answered his own questions aloud as if he were Cordoba speaking from the afterlife. Yes, I already ate. And you? Continued Alvarenga, talking to Cordoba. Me too, he answered, as if he was Cordoba. I ate in the kingdom of heaven. The conversation continued as if they were two chatty mates eating a leisurely breakfast. Alvarenga decided the easiest way to deal with losing his only companion was to simply pretend he hadn't died. Throughout the day, Alvarenga treated the corpse like a friend with whom he could share fears, thoughts, and stream of consciousness stories. Why don't we go to Tonala, the Mexican city where fishermen from their region regularly partied? Have some beers, a great dinner. First, I'll take a shower. I have my clothes ironed and ready. I have good shoes, too. On the second day after death...
It's a little circle.
Yeah, it's been doing that. It's fine.
Okay.
It's still green. On the second day after death, Cordoba's body turned purple as the conversations unfolded. During day 3, his skin began to cook in the sun. Like dry leather, it developed a crusty edge. I touched him and he was solid, said Alvarenga. He never smelled, he just dried up in the sun. It did not disgust me at all. It seemed normal. I hugged him. By the 4th day, Cordoba was nearly black, and Alvarenga had fully incorporated the corpse into his daily routines, bidding it buenos dias, buenas tardes, and buenas noches. Then Alvarenga began to sing hymns to the corpse. He was certain Cordoba was listening and watched intently to see if the body moved. How is death? Alvarenga asked. I want to know, my friend. Is it painful? Death is beautiful. I am waiting for you, Alvarenga answered, as if Cordoba were speaking aloud. I don't want to go, retorted Alvarenga. I am not headed that way. This soliloquy with the corpse wreaked havoc on Alvarenga's sanity. He started to go mad. He couldn't imagine surviving alone on the boat. Despite their fundamental character differences, the men had worked as a team, hunted together, suffered for months, and shared a common fate. Maybe death was not such a dark path, Alvarenga thought as he spent hours staring at his dead mate. 6 days after Cordoba's death, Alvarenga sat with the body on a moonless night, in full conversation with the mummified corpse, when, as if waking from a dream, he was suddenly shocked to find he was conversing with the dead. I tried to throw his body into the ocean, but I couldn't. Later in the evening, he tried again. First, I washed his feet. His clothes were useful, so I stripped off a pair of shorts and a sweatshirt, put that on. It was red, with a little skull and crossbones, and then I dumped him in. As I slid him into the water, I fainted. On January 30th, 2014, 14 months after his disappearance and 8,850 kilometers from his point of origin, Alvarenga washed ashore on Ebon Atoll in the Marshall Islands. He was treated at a hospital before being flown to El Salvador, where he was reunited with his ecstatic parents and daughter. Some people doubted that his extraordinary tale of survival could be true, but the testimonies of the doctors who examined him and of oceanographers who plotted the journey he took, taking into account prevailing winds and currents, were overwhelmingly in support of him. In April 2014, Alvarenga's lawyer announced that his client had passed a lie detector test. That's it.
That was fucking wild. I would have eaten him.
I don't know. That would have been very hard to do. This is Jose Salvador Alvarenga before and after.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's a long time.
I guess if he was a stranger, I would have eaten him. It would be very hard for you to eat somebody that you know.
And that was only 118 days.
Mhm.
118 days in, and his friend died, and he still had about 310, almost a year left.
By himself.
By himself.
That's crazy.
And I guess he just continued doing that. Icebox for shelter. Food. It's miraculous that his boat never flipped.
Yeah, or I wonder if they encountered rough seas at some point.
And Then he finally washed ashore. There is on the Wikipedia page
Hmm.
for this guy, um, he is still alive.
Hmm.
He was born 1975. This was the voyage that he took.
He's younger than my dad.
So from near
Wow.
Guatemala.
Whoa, he coasted so far.
Yes.
Man. That's crazy.
So that's the sea and how frightening it can be.
You rhymed.
And how frightening it can be, yeah. But in the middle of the ocean with no land in sight,
Mm.
and just floating out there and being, it's like being in the desert, essentially, It's frightening. It's terrifying.
I feel like it's crueler to be surrounded by a body of water with no food or water, and you just want to drink the ocean water.
Yeah.
And that is such a bad idea.
Yep. No, you'll die.
How dare you fold your knees in front of me like a regular human?
Thalassophobia. I was looking up thalassophobia, and a lot of people, it's like the fear of things that exist in the water,
Mm-hmm.
or just the fear of open water, like you
Well,
mentioned.
it's always like a drawing of like a sea monster.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think that's a perfect example of someone who could be afraid of the open water
Mm-hmm.
after over a year's worth of trauma. It's
We should have talked about that famous surfer girl who got her arm bit off by a shark and then went back to surfing.
Oh yeah, we should have talked about that in sharks. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I talked about that guy who got bit.
Eh.
Yeah, but yeah, that's all I got.
Anyways,
Anyways,
what was
I
that
think
sound?
that was you.
That was not me. My phone is on vibrate.
Well, me. That was definitely you. Or your watch.
Watch don't make sounds like that. The sound of my watch is a cork bottle opening.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
a wine bottle opening. It goes. Yes. Exactly.
Oh, you want me to ask? You get so offended. What'd you think of the beer?
I was gonna give you a chance.
Oh,
I'm trying to be nice.
oh.
You know.
You didn't. You hardly drank any.
Well, I had that beer before that, so it was just kind of like my stomach's empty, so just kind of seemed like a bad
You need
idea.
to eat something.
You're right. You're not wrong. I've kind of been not really impressed with the beers lately. Kind of just been like,
I think we need to.
I don't know what that is.
That sounds like it's coming from you.
I'm not even getting any notifications.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Suspicious.
It is very sus. Maybe we need to try more wild beers. Different things. But I think we have a good variety. It's like we try some beers we're used to, APAs, IPAs, etc. We had a Hefeweizen. That was incredible.
It was good.
I want more of those. Maybe do another Pilsner. Let's get some more stouts in our rotation. I don't know. Just keep the variety going. But I get what you're saying. It's like it's a beer.
I don't want to downplay it that
Yeah,
bad.
it's like, oh yeah, there's yeast and then there's a little bit of fruit and then the hop flavor. Yep, it's a beer.
And we're on 54 beers. I mean, including our bonus episode, so I'm holding.
So this is a 12-ounce can, right?
Uh-huh.
1 pint. So if we take an average, because most of those are anywhere from 8 to 12 ounces, so we'll say 10 ounces. 10 ounces times 54 is 540 ounces. And if we do the conversion, volume, I guess Google, 540, 2 gallons. 4.219 U.S. liquid gallons. So we've had 54 episodes, an average of about 10 ounces per beer. Some episodes we've had 2 beers. But at about an average, we've both drank over 4 gallons of beer since we started this podcast.
So much beer.
I'm just thinking, like a milk gallon. 4 of those of beer we've had.
Grab the handle, boys.
Yeah.
We're going in.
That's a lot of beer.
Jesus.
I remember our anniversary episode, we calculated about how much we've spent on beer.
I don't want to do that again.
But
I don't like that.
we drink a lot of beer. But I'm glad I only usually drink beer on the podcast days. So
My personal opinion of it, there is some potential, but it was just another APA.
Yep. Nothing too crazy
You know?
sticking out from
Maybe
it.
it was just too cold. Did you taste it warmer? Was there a
Yeah,
difference?
you want to taste sip it?
Yeah, give it.
Yeah.
Give it a chance.
I think it's definitely better when it's not like ice cold. It's still cold, but not just, not fresh out of the freezer cold.
There's a little something
Yeah, you get more.
in the back of the throat.
I think the coldness kind of puts a damper on the flavors a little bit, but
There's a little something there. Not anything that blows my socks off. I'm not even wearing socks.
if you were wearing socks, they would remain on your feet.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
What do you think?
Pretty much what I just said. Oh yeah, there's fruit. Yeah, there's hop. Yeah, it's a beer. It's good.
We can't lose our passion for it now. We gotta try and dig deep into these beers.
We can't lose our passion for it. Oh yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's good. It's
good.
yeah, it's good. It's American Pale Ale, and
Stating facts.
it is Chili Water by Tighthead.
It has an ABV.
It's got an ABV of 4.5. I don't know. Yeah, you get a little bit of the fruit. Definitely mangoes there. Apple, like you mentioned, I taste that.
Oh, I only said apple juice because of the color.
But
I didn't taste apple
Okay, I tasted a little bit. Maybe it's just
because I said it.
yeah. Suggestion. But it's a thicker beer, frothy,
It's very
coats
bitter
your mouth.
in
Yeah.
the swallow.
Yeah, it coats your mouth, and then decent burp, hoppy flavor, grassy.
Decent burp.
It's just yeah, we've had beers very similar to this before. I still enjoy them, but yes, nothing that just like last week, nothing that like pokes out at me. Nothing unique about it, unfortunately, sad to say, but it's a good, decent beer. Dig it. Decent APA. Do you want to do a bonus episode?
We can.
All right, I'll need to put some research together. Do you have to go home anytime soon? I have to I'll have to do some quick research. Do you want to do the orange one or do you want to do the Ludington Bay one?
Which one's the Ludington Bay one?
It's the blueberry cream ale. Yeah. Okay. beerandfearcast.com is our website. You can click on the episodes thing and then click on where it says episode 54 when you're listening to this. I don't know where you're listening to this. Maybe Spotify. But go to the website and then click on that, and you'll see some pictures that we've included at the bottom. You can listen to the episode right there, the little summary. It's got all the links for everything, too, in the description. So check that out. Our beer list is on there as well. Check out the About page. You can find links to our Patreon for our Twitch, and then our socials at the top, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, TikTok. And there's a contact form on the About page where you can fill that out. And if you want to send us a message, you can do that there. Or reach out to us on Facebook or wherever. Yep. And beerandfearcast.com is our email if you'd rather just email us.
Send us a harassing email.
Yeah, that's on there as well. Send us a ransom email.
Yeah.
Threaten us and ask for a bunch of money,
Yes.
or you're going to hack us.
Yeah.
Like 2,000 Bitcoin.
Yes.
Or you're going to hack us.
Yes.
That'd be really cool to talk about in an episode.
Yes, it would.
And then besides that, we got our live episode in the works. We've got Frights and Flights we're still working on. I'll have to add a section of that to the website. But yeah, you know everything. If you've been listening this long, you know what's up. We'll keep you posted.
Have a good day.
Oh, God. I had my eyes closed.
Fool. Foolish fool. I got swears.
I need to be home like at certain time. But if you like need to stay here, I can go.
We
You
don't
can
mind.
go.
What do you mean?
Huh?
What do you mean you can go?